Hello Cricketers, welcome to Cricketing with Delonda. It's me again, Delonda, and thank you so much for joining me today. In today's tutorial, I am going to continue to show you what I'm learning all about sublimation. And before I really get into showing you what I want to show you, I do want to give a shout out to one of the group members in my Facebook group. Her name is Trina NeCole. And the reason why I want to give a shout out to her is because she was the first person to introduce me to sublimation. She does have an Instagram page, she does have a business account, and I'm going to put a link to her account down in the description so you can go and check out her stuff, because she does some really amazing work. And I just wanted to give her a shout out right here on YouTube, because she does need credit for all the things she has done. She even did a live Q&A in the Facebook group that she was willing to just let everyone come in and ask questions and share what she knows. And I really appreciate that, and I'm so thankful for her. So I'm going to put her information down in the description box. Okay. I'm learning about sublimation. I'm learning. I have ordered a number of blanks, and I'm learning, my way of doing this whole sublimation. So you might see that I'm holding 2 billion keychains. Well, not literally, but almost. And you might remember that some of you met me because you were asking about how did I do my photo keychains. These were the first photo keychains that I had ever tried to do, and they were such a huge hit. Of course, I'm going to put a link to the description box for how my process for doing these. These were all done with print then cut. So I just used printable vinyl, and I put the circle shapes, and I used acrylic keychain blanks. And I love these. I actually love these. This process is very, very easy. You're basically using a sticker and putting it on a blank. So I would not stop doing my keychains like this. However, I'm also very pleased with how these came out. So I did do one that is the same photo. So this was my first photo when I made my photo keychains, and this is that same photo on a sublimation. So I did, this one is sublimated, this is print then cut with printable vinyl. I love both. Okay, I don't love one more than the other. I love both of them. But without further ado, let's get started. Okay. The materials that you will need in order to get started with sublimation keychains. You can use the acrylic keychains, but for this tutorial, I use sublimation blank keychains that are double-sided. So I purchased this package that came from Amazon, and it came with enough blanks for 36 keychains. And so there are hearts, squares, rectangles, and circles, and they are 3 millimeters thick. So if you wanted to do anything else with them, you really couldn't, not with the Cricut. It comes with the jump rings and all of the materials to put them together. I already had jewelry pliers, but you will need jewelry pliers to, put the key chain onto the sublimation blank. You will need some type of heat tape. I am going to probably be using the Cricut heat resistant tape for this tutorial, but if you have this kind, either one of these will work. You'll need a pair of scissors. I use the A-Sub paper. I purchased this one from Amazon. It's the 125 gram size. It's the one that has the black and gold box. I love this paper. I used my Cricut ruler. You don't have to use this kind of ruler. You can use any ruler you have on hand. And I also love this box of white butcher paper. I purchased this one from Amazon. And I love the convenience of it because it has this cutter right here on it. I did use my swing out heat press, and I got it up to 400 degrees, and I had to do each blank on each side. So I couldn't just do both sides at one time, but my heat press is the swing out, and it looks like that I just showed you. You'll get a better view of it during the video. I use my Epson Workforce 2760-2760, and I uploaded photos of my family that I wanted to use for this tutorial, and that's it. Okay, I am in Cricut Design Space in order to upload my photos to show you my process for making the photos the appropriate size for this set of sublimation blanks. If you are using a different set of sublimation blanks, I would say you'd have to play around with it a little bit, because that's what I had to do to get the right size for these. Okay, so the first thing I'll do is upload my first image. I'm going to browse. I am going to choose this one that says Maddie. It says it's a large image. When it comes in, I will choose complex. I'm going to click continue. I won't even be able to see any of it. Honestly, I don't need to see any of it, but if I did, I could zoom out like that. I'm going to click continue. Okay, of course, I want this as a print then cut image. There it is right there. I'm going to insert it. Now, the shape that I'm going to change this one to will be into a heart shape. Okay, so I'm going to let me change the view, just minimize it a little bit on my screen, because I like to be able to see my whole canvas. And I'm also going to just bring the size of this down to 5. If I just type in 5, that's sufficient. I'll bring it up to 50%. Okay, so right now the view on my canvas is at 50%, and the size of this photo is just fine. Okay, so the next thing that I'll do is, instead of grabbing a shape here, because I want this to be in a heart shape, in order to make one of the heart shape blank, to use one of the heart shape blanks, this heart I found didn't work for these blanks. Let me show you what I mean. If you look at this heart shape, you'll see that this one is a bit wide while that one is long. And even if I stretch that one out, it just kind of made it distorted. So instead of using the heart shape from here, I went into images, and I'm going to look for something free. And I typed in heart, hit enter. I went to ownership. I typed in, I clicked on the one that says free, and I found the free heart shapes that are offered in Cricut Design Space. And I was trying to find a heart that was shaped more like the one that I have. And the one that I found was this one. Okay, see how that one is wide? Even though it doesn't look like it, it's more wide. And I thought that one would be a perfect fit, and it actually is. This one right here also looks like a good fit. I just didn't try it. Okay, so I use this one, and I'm going to insert it. The size that I found that works for this is, and I had to write it down, I had to change this, I had to resize this to, and I had to unlock it, 2.1 in width by 2.0 in height. Okay, so this is actually the perfect size. And what I did after I got my sizing the right way, I went ahead and I put it on top of the image. Let me make the picture of them a little bit smaller. This will give me an opportunity to get it. And I can even change that to a draw just so I can see it better. Okay. And that is perfect. That's the perfect size right there. Okay. So if I select both of them, I can hit that slice. If you've been with me for more than 2 seconds, that's how I get my images. So I can delete this because I don't need this anymore. And what I did with the picture, because I'm going to want to sublimate on the front and the back. That's one thing I like about these blanks, is that I can sublimate on the front and on the back. So what I did after I got the sizing right is I duplicated, and then I flip it. Okay, so I take the other one and I flip it horizontally. Okay, so, and then I just kind of move them out a little bit so they're not too close together, and I align them, and I align them to the bottom because I want them to be even when they cut out. And I can even attach these, okay, because I want them to stay just like that. Okay, so if I wanted to use this image for another photo, which I do because I don't want to waste paper, I can look at any of the other images that I might want to use for that heart shape. Okay, I'll use this one of my husband and I. That's from our wedding day. Look at that. Who is that girl? Who's that girl? Okay, so this one might be a little bit harder because we don't look like we're standing that close together, but I can try. I can try to see if this one will work. Let me arrange it and send that to the front. Okay, I don't want the image to be too small because these blanks, they're pretty small. This might be okay. I think I'll try it. So I'm gonna slice it, okay, and delete this. That's actually kind of cute. Okay, so I will duplicate this photo and then I will flip it horizontally. Okay, so it's the same photo, and then I select both, I align them to the bottom, and I attach them so that they are, let me go back. Okay, not sure, I might have hit the wrong, I think I hit weld by mistake. Should not have done that. Okay, so there are my two photos that will be printed in the heart shape. But for the heart shape, you use the size 2.1 by 2. And that will give you the appropriate size. What I've learned about sublimation is that it's better to have your picture bigger than you need, because having it just the right size is not a great idea. It's actually a pretty awful idea. All right, another size that comes in here, and I'll show you this one. This is another one of the, and it looks dark, but I'll be able to show it to you when we turn the lights back on, when we're finished with the laptop, is the square shape. Now this one, you know, you're gonna just keep it as a square because this one works out perfectly. But the shape of the square, instead of being 3.111, is actually just, if you just resize it to 2.0, that is sufficient. Okay, so 2.0 on the square. I think even if you go to 2.1, you'll be okay. I think I'm gonna stick with 2.1. All right, and let me upload the photo that I want to use for that. Okay, so I'm gonna go to upload image. I'm going to browse. You probably already know which one. Look, hammer. Okay, tell me there's a large image. It's gonna take a moment. Okay, complex. That's me. I'm gonna click continue. I didn't clean it up at all. I just uploaded the image. Okay, I do want it to be print then cut. Okay, I'm going to insert the image. Okay, okay. All right, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to change this to a draw, so just so I can see it, and I'm going to arrange it to send it to the front so I can see the lines, my cut lines. Okay, and I actually want my picture a little bit smaller to give me more, because I want the hammer. Here go the hammer. I want the hammer in the picture. Okay, I want it just like that. And I'm cutting it kind of close, but I think I'll be fine. Okay, I'm going to slice it. Okay, and take this out, and I'm going to click on the picture, duplicate it, and then I'm going to move it over a little bit. I'm going to flip it horizontally. Okay, and select both, not the box. Select both of these and align them to the bottom. Okay, and I am going to attach them. And now I have 3 sets of photos. I'm going to do one more just so I'm not wasting paper, because sublimation is expensive. I think I will do something that is related to my rockets. Okay, we're going to go with this rockets right here. It's so plain though. Let me try it again. Okay, Houston Rockets. Okay, let me ungroup it because it looks like I selected a whole bunch of stuff and I did not intend to do that. Yeah, I selected a whole bunch. Okay, so this, let's see if I do that and I flatten it and I just duplicate it, okay? And that way I can, when I sublimate them, let me align it and align it to the bottom and make sure they are attached. Okay, we will see how that Rockets one comes out. I think I'm still gonna love it. All right, and the reason why I did not flip the Rockets one is because it has words on it and that would just make it weird. Okay, so I have already clicked make it. Okay, and my heat press is already heated up. I'm gonna move these down a little bit just to make sure that when I get ready to cut, that none of them are too close together, and that, you know, I don't risk, you know, cutting on top of another photo. Okay, I click continue. I am going to send this to my Epson 2760. And I'm going to put the paper in. If you watched my first sublimation tutorial, I showed you how I put the paper in. The paper is with a sub on the back facing away from me. So if my printer is, you know, close to the wall, the words a sub is facing the wall. And the only thing I can see on the printer from my side of it is the blank paper. Okay, so this, you can still see it, but so this is the back of the paper that's facing the wall. So when I load my paper, that part of it is facing the wall. I keep the bleed on. Some people turn it off. I don't. So I just keep the bleed on, and I have been selecting use system dialog because I want to make sure that it's going to go to the right settings. Don't want to take any chances with the settings. Okay. I've said before that my preferences have been set to this printer. I did save a sublimation preset with all of the settings that I need for my specific printer and my specific laptop. I am not using a Mac, I'm using an HP, and these are the settings. Okay, so premium presentation paper matte, quality high. I kept the reverser order on. If I go to more options, you'll be able to see that here it's on custom. If I go to advanced, okay, I kept the color controls right here, and my color mode is on Adobe RGB and the gamma is 2.2. I did not mess with any of this stuff right here. So I'm gonna click OK. And I do have mirror image checked. I didn't take that off. I have high speed off and mirror image on. Okay, so I'm gonna click print. My paper is inserted and I should have 8 photos that will print out. Okay, one of the things that I learned from watching a design bundles video on sublimation is that it's best to let your pictures, as soon as they're finished printing, to let them heat up and dry off under the heat press for a few. So I've been doing that. I just put it right on the heat press, right on the plate, and I don't lower the plate. So the photos will sit there just for a minute or so while I am getting everything else ready. Okay, all of these sublimation blanks come with plastic on both sides. So what I do is I just use my weeding tool because I'm not always able to grab it with my nails, and I just take it from both sides, and I make sure I'm not forgetting to remove it from either side. So I don't just like do one side and wait. I do both sides. I'll speed this part up so you can just kind of see this process. Okay, I have removed my photos from the heat press. Trust me, it's dry. Now I will cut around them and start to lay them down on each of these blanks. So I have 2 hearts, 1 circle, and 1 square. And I'll do that part. I'll speed that part up too. I've noticed that with these blanks, you can only do only sub one side of them at a time. So to me, this is what worked best for me. You don't have to do it this way. You can do it another way if you find a way that works better. Well, what I found is, let me take this one off because I see something on this tape and I don't want to risk having an issue. What I found is just by taping the blank to the image and then putting this face down on the butcher paper that's already there. So I will adjust this so you can see the heat press and see this process. I am going to press these for 60 seconds. So I'm going to turn this over. So that's why I taped it so much. Okay, it's actually set on 402. But my heat press, sometimes it's going down to 398, but it's set for 60 seconds. So I'm gonna let it, do what it does. Okay, the timer beeped and I am going to carefully turn them over and I am going to see how they came out. I'm going to assume that they came out good. This one, I could have lined it up a little bit better. You see that white? So don't want to see any white. White is not what I want to see on the image if it's not supposed to be there. So let's see. Honey, look at that. Yes. Okay, I like this one. This one came out pretty good. And I'm having to use these because these are super, super hot. Okay, that one came out beautifully. Okay, I don't know if you can see that one. Let's see this one. Now the colors are, oh wow, that looks really nice. That looks super nice. Look at that. That is beautiful. That is, I'm pleased with it. Okay, so I won't use this butcher paper again, and I won't use the one that's on my heat press either because it has some discoloration, but oh gosh, I'm pleased with how these came out. I like these blanks. I didn't want to purchase from a bulk supplier because I don't see myself needing 100 of these. So Amazon was a good starting point, especially for me since I'm just now diving into this. I want to feel comfortable before I spend too much money. And, because I'm not into sales, I don't need to spend a lot of money. All of these are trash. Okay, so now what I need to do is put the load these on the other side. I need to do the exact same thing that I just did for the first side. I need to do it for the other side. Okay, so I'm letting those cool down a little bit. Okay. And what I like about doing the flipped model is that I can see where to line it up. So I don't know if you can tell or if you can see that. Let me kind of zoom in a little bit. But you see how I'm able to line up like Peter's suit and my dress, and so I know exactly where to tape it. So that is one benefit of flipping the image and duplicating and flipping. So I really like that. Okay, so I have subbed on the other side of these and prayerfully, yes, okay, the images came out just as beautiful on the other side that they did on the first side, and still very hot, still very, very hot. I won't bore you with this part. I will get them put together, because just like with the other keychains, you have to put, put this on there and get it all connected. And I'm not going to bore, and plus this is still very, very hot. I will get these connected and share my final thoughts. Okay, so hopefully you were able to follow along with my process and you see all of the beautiful keychains that I was able to sublimate. And now the keychain blanks that I purchased did not come with these. These are called key hooks. I've got these from another pack of keychains that I purchased when I bought the acrylic keychain blanks. And the blanks that I purchased also did not come with these tassels. So, these are like multiple packs of keychains put together, and I will put links down below so that you can, purchase them if you want to. This is one of those print then cut keychain from the acrylic set. But I am very, very pleased with how these came out. The colors are very vibrant. I did go ahead and put tassels on each of these. I didn't make this one in the video. I made this one before the video as my, my starter, my practice. This one, of course, I love. There was one dud, and that was the Houston Rockets keychain. It did not come out the way I would have liked, so I'm not going to put a keychain, the hardware on there. So because, I don't need it. One thing I didn't mention that I used, it was these. These were this came with my brayer tool, and I used these to take the sublimation blanks from the butcher paper, because the blanks will be very hot. And if you don't have heat resistant gloves, this is a viable option for now. And that's just about it. I do have a Facebook group. It is called Cricut Crafting with Delonda. I welcome you to come and join us over there. That group is steadily growing, slowly but surely. I am trying to get to 1,000 subscribers, so I just want to be honest with you. So if you haven't hit that like and subscribe button, go ahead and please do that now. That would really make my day. And I don't think you will be displeased. I think you will be actually pleased with the content that I'm sharing with you twice a week. And I am doing Christmas in July, just for the month of July. And I think we're coming up on the last Wednesday in July. So look out for that tutorial. I will put a link for the sublimation video that I did last time. And I will also put a link to the description box for the keychain tutorial that I did when I made my photo keychains. So thank you for joining me today, and thanks for watching. Bye.